Yo, what is up YouTube? I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're clicking on this video, it's because you want to know what Jagex needs to do to keep this beautiful game called RuneScape growing and bring players to the game. Now, I am going to talk about things that they do well, but I'm also going to talk about the things that they don't do well and what they can do to keep this game growing and keep it on the top end of the MMOs. But before we get into all that, quick shout out to the boy Zedin for commenting on our last video. If you want a chance to get shouted out in the next video, make sure you guys comment down below what you think are some things Jagex can do to keep RuneScape relevant and grow the player base. Also, according to YouTube, only 11% of you scapers out there subscribe to the channel, so if you haven't yet, please subscribe with post notifications on for all new videos related to RuneScape 3. It'd really help out a lot. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers. That's going to be our first milestone, so if we get there, expect a giveaway 100%. With all that out of the way, let's get into the meat of this video. So before we talk about what Jagex doesn't do very well and what RuneScape can actually do to gain a lot more players, let's talk about the things that they do well. So the first thing that RuneScape does super well is it gets players hooked. I'm sure we've all heard of the meme, "We don't quit RuneScape, we just take breaks." And I honestly didn't think this was true because I took a 2-year break myself, not thinking I'd come back to the game. Yet here I am grinding harder than ever, trying to complete all those goals. And now that I think about it, I think that's honestly what gets a lot of players hooked to RuneScape is the goal system that they have. Yeah, you can complete 199 and feel somewhat of accomplished, but then what's next? There's always the what next fallacy where you're like, okay, I got 99 in this skill, I might as well try to get them in all skills. So the short-term goals, the long-term goals, it kind of keeps you into the game trying to complete all these goals that you set for yourself. But I think that's what keeps me coming back to RuneScape. But let me know down in the comments section what keeps you guys around. And also let me know what your longest break from RuneScape was when you thought you were done with the game, but yet here you are again. And now that we're talking about it, another really good thing Jagex does is frequently updating and new content. Now, it's not every single week there's a new massive thing of content, but typically every single week there's some form of update, whether that's quality of life or just to make the in-game experience a little better. Psst, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I go live on Twitch sometimes, usually Sundays. So if you're there, come drink a brew with me and we're gaming. And then here, like last year, we were having a lot of new content with the Elder God Wars 3 coming out, and then we were having a new boss every single month, which was really exciting. So if Jagex continues to put out content in that form of nature, it's going to keep players that are playing currently super engaged and hooked, so we're not going to really go anywhere and enjoy that content, but it's also going to give new players that are coming into the game new things to shoot for, whether it's a long-term goal or a short-term goal, and just have fun doing it. And another good thing Jagex does in comparison to a lot of other MMO games is the quest line. Like, I don't know if you guys have tried questing in WoW or other games, but there's not really a lot to it. There's not like a storyline. Like, yes, there's lore to the other MMOs, but it's not as complex and deep as RuneScape. Let me know down in the comment section. I believe I'm wrong, but there's like 5 different major storylines, I believe, throughout all the quests, and every single one's like slightly different. It kind of keeps you on your toes and tells a whole different story, which I'm not 100% sure. I do have QuestCape, but I use guides because, you know, I'm not an epic gamer. But I'm pretty sure, like, it's so amazing that they tie everything in and it makes sense. Like, I've watched a few lore videos on YouTube and it's been super interesting to, like, learn reasons why bosses don't like certain bosses or NPCs react to other NPCs. Super interesting. But as a whole, these are some things that Jagex does really well to the player base that they have now, which keeps us around. I think that's really why we keep coming back. The only thing that Jagex does not do well is growing the player base. I mean, yes, RuneScape has a decent following and there's a lot of people that play, but a lot of them are on old school and they're not really messing with RS3 because of the nostalgic feeling. They just don't care for it. So if Jagex can get people to play the game, they're obviously going to stick around because that's why we're here and loving the game, because they do everything else right. It's just that beginning factor of gaining new players. So what can they do? Well, yes, they can run ads and people will see and hear about RuneScape, and maybe they do give it a try because they heard about it in the past, because it has a long line of existing. It's been around for 20 years. But what is that initial experience for a player who's never played RuneScape? Well, what I decided to do is create a brand new account and select the option I've never played RuneScape to kind of get a feel of how the Jagex will present the game to me if I'm a brand new player. And something that kind of threw me through a loop, and it may not be that important, but it's kind of weird for me, is that there are some quests that have voiceovers and things of that nature. However, on Tutorial Island there is no voiceover. Is that a big deal? I don't think so, but having a voiceover at least at the beginning would kind of give that feeling of realism to the game instead of just having to read the text dialogue. And I think that would be one small thing they could do to kind of keep the engagement going through Tutorial Island. Because if you just come into a game, you guys know there's so much to RuneScape, but if you're just coming into the game and you have to read a list of dialogue of things in order to know how to do it, it's going to kind of be overwhelming and kind of not interest you as much as it should. Another thing that I realized is when I got to the combat section of Tutorial Island, it didn't even really show me how the abilities work. It just said, hey, click on this and you'll start attacking, and it automatically has Revo on, which I feel like that's another thing that can hinder people coming to the game because they don't even really understand how it works. And people that even have been playing the game for a long time, they only focus on skilling and things of that nature, are still super confused on how the combat system even really works in this game. So if you guys are struggling with that, I do have an ultimate ability breakdown where I talk about each ability and go into them a little depth so you guys can understand them. So I'll leave a card up in the top for that. So those are kind of a few things that I had to pick about Tutorial Island, and it didn't really introduce the player to a lot of things. It kind of just throws them into the world of Gildanor. Yes, it talks about the basic skills, but not all of them. And I know if you continue down the task line that it gives you, you talk on all the skills. But I feel like there's a better way they could go about it to make it more engaging for new players. So let me know down in the comment sections what you guys think they could do to kind of make that initial start a lot better for new players. But I feel like when they fix that aspect of the game and new players can understand how RuneScape works off the jump a lot faster, then the rest is history, because everyone that comes to the game will be addicted because Jagex does that part super well. And that brings us into the other thing that I think Jagex doesn't do very well, and this may not necessarily hinder people coming to the game or growing the player base, but it's their customer service. When I watched its video on the Steam reviews, a lot of the negative reviews just came from not being able to get a hold of Jagex and the initial experience of the game. So I feel like if they were to focus on these two things, really the main thing, fixing up that tutorial section for people on mobile, because a lot of people would find out about RuneScape through mobile, but just in general, that way people can understand the game better off the start, and then again they'll be hooked. But then their customer service, if you ever got banned for something, even if you weren't doing anything, it's super hard to get a hold of someone to talk to them. I think the only way you can really get something to happen is if, one, you're recording and you have proof, and two, you have to follow up with them on Twitter. There's not really a good way to get a hold of them through the website. So I feel like they should go ahead and try to fix that aspect if they can. It doesn't necessarily have to even be a 24-hour customer service thing, because people can wait till the next day, but just have it set up to where people can actually call or live chat through certain hours on specific things to fix their account or their issues they have, because that's going to make it to where us, the players, feel Jagex is more connected with us, and if something does happen, that our account isn't completely wiped away and gone forever. And again, let me know down in the comment sections what you guys think, but these are the two main things that I feel like if Jagex would focus on, fix, that one, player count will increase and grow, especially with all the new content that they push out, and when they run the ads and people give it a try, they'll actually stick around. And also the customer service part not only will help grow the player count and keep them in, but like the players that are here will feel safe and also stick around even longer than we do already. But that is it for the video, everyone. If you made it this far, wow, you are a real one. I appreciate all the support. If you haven't yet, make sure you leave a like on the video. It really helps us get to that algorithm. And again, comment down below for a chance to get shouted out in the next video. Hopefully Jagex sees this and sees some of the things that we discussed today here in the video and in the comment section. And hopefully they kind of take some of that with a grain of salt and help grow this beautiful game that we all love, RuneScape. But other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and guess what? I will see you in the next video. Peace.